We'll take this the wrong way. You knew who I was every step that I ran you. Only blue or black days. We let a trace of affection to any strangers I see. Would things be easier if there was a right way out of there is no right way? That's why life has its own way of giving you a try. Till I find peace, I'll be chasing acceptance in every way. Every day with someone new. I fall in love just a little older bit. Every day with someone new. I fall in love just a little older bit. Every day with someone new. I fall in love just a little older bit. Every day. I see God's face in every single place. Family of life I've chosen. Everything goes. I see him walk out.
Good morning, y'all.
Good morning.
Welcome to Unity of Birmingham, and for those who are joining us on Zoom, we welcome you also. I'm going to lead a brief practice, and this morning I'm inspired to do something from the tradition of Sufism, which I've been involved with for over 40 years. And you can do it sitting, but I do it kneeling. So I'm going to use the other mic. Can y'all hear me? How about now? Better?
Okay.
So this is a practice called zikr. It's spelled D-H-I-K-R, but it's pronounced zikr, Z-I-K. And it's a practice of remembrance of who we really are, remembrance of the Holy of Holies, remembrance of our divine inheritance. And so it is in Arabic. It's from a phrase in the Quran, La ilaha illallah, which means there is nothing but God. There is nothing that is not God. La ilaha illallah. I'm just going to start doing, there is a head motion. You can joining in, or just close your eyes and listen and feel it. Start at the left shoulder, la, then la, ha, and coming up to the apex, il, la, il. Il means but, except. There is nothing but God, the one, infinity, the infinitude of our own beings. And then there's a final word, who is the Holy of Holies. It's like the icing on the cake, creme de la creme. Until 100 years ago, the word who was not even revealed to anyone who was not a fairly high level initiate. It's a very powerful word, very powerful sound. So I'm just going to start doing it, and as you hear it and feel it, you can join in and do it with me. Law, the law, in law. Law, in law, in law, law, in law, in law. There is nothing but the one law, in law, in law, law, in law, in law, law, in law, in law, law. In law, 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 in
that was beautiful. Closes the door. A window opens to explore. Blessings to come through on the wings of angels. There is no fear when your power is near, and let your strength dictate the path I take. can feel it without another thought. I'm here so you can get it off your chest. While we get some rest. To be truthful, that's all I want. Not overthink, I guess. Speak to me like a living diary. Words tattooed on the page in my memory. Speak to me like a living diary. Words tattooed on the page in my memory.
Right there together, let's plug into the spirit of worship that's in the house. If you just heard the word worship for the first time, when you take a look at the word worship, the word worship is connected to the etymological origin of the word. So when we're talking about worship, we're talking about worthiness. But everything is grace, according to St. Augustine. So it's not by might nor by power that we're here today. We feel like it's of our own will and of our own accord, but it's by the grace and mercy of God in us, God with us, God as us. And during those times in your life where you feel like you're not worthy, say this with me, grace. When you feel like you're not deserving, you messed up, you didn't quite get it right, the phone call didn't go right, the deal didn't go right, the conversation didn't go right, say this with me, grace. The grace of God is unmerited favor. You don't have to ask for it. You don't have to force or coerce this power that works for good, according to Ernest Holmes. This power simply is. God is and is a rewarder of those that diligently seek him, her, they, or it. Well, how do we seek the Lord? Seek the Lord while he may be found. We seek the Lord by surrendering to the presence of God that already is. I say all the time, when you can't feel God, that's because God simply is ising through your life. It's hard to feel Jesse when I'm actively acting as Jesse. But when I step outside of myself, I can witness myself in second person, third person, etc. What does all that mean? For those of you that don't feel the presence of God in here today, it's because the presence of God is showing up in you, with you, as you. So it's hard to feel yourself when you're actively being yourself. So all you got to do is say yes and surrender and let go. And then you'll find that God in you supersedes your feeling nature. So you don't have to feel God for God to be real. Come on, somebody. You don't have to know by your five senses that God is there. God simply is. You don't have to touch it, taste it, hear it, smell it, sense it. You simply say yes and surrender to the power that is. And somehow it transcends your natural mind and miracles start to happen. If you can, take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. And I want you to do something with me. We're going to continue the energy that was in the room. We're going to continue to plug into it. But I want to use the nature of sound just to do some healing work real quick. You guys ever done an Om before? Let's do a collective Om, because something happens when we collectively plug in and synchronize with the energy that's already present in a place. So on the count of three, I want you to rub your hands together. 1, 2, 3, just to get your hands warmed up. And this time, place your hands on your thigh, symbolizing the root chakra. Imagine that your legs are heavy as tree trunks. Plug deep, deep within the earth so that we can ground ourselves together on the first Om. Take a deep breath, and as you exhale, release the sound of Om on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh. Rub your hands together if you can. Place one hand on your belly, the other hand on your chest. Now we're going to allow that energy. Feel your legs getting lighter and lighter. Now that we've grounded ourselves, we're going to feel ourselves getting lighter because we're going to surrender to the power that simply is. Take a deep breath, another chant of Om. Om. Allow the sound of your own voice to reverberate throughout your body, healing your entire chakra system from the crown of your head to the soles of your feet. One last Om, rub your hands together. Place your hands on the left and the right temples of your head. The Bible says that Jesus was crucified between two thieves. The two thieves are the left and the right hemisphere of the brain. So where is the Christ? The center of the brain, that wonderful pineal gland, metaphorically, the frontal lobe, where it's the center of higher consciousness and higher reasoning, all of those metaphorical statements. But we're going to bring healing to our minds today with this last Om. Take a deep breath. Chant the sound of Om. Om. Collectively, we declare the presence and the power of God, not just in this place, but in our lives. We speak healing to our bodies, healing to our loved ones. We speak healing to our finances and healing to our families. We deny lack, we deny pain, we deny agitation, and we affirm the presence and power that worketh for good to take its course, to do what it does, to show up and show out in this place, in our lives and in our families. And collectively we say, and so it is. Put your hands together for yourself, if you will. Thank you so much for participating with me in this affirmation treatment. And for those of you that are watching online, thank you for joining us at Unity of Birmingham Live. Let's put our hands together for our online community that are watching via Facebook. We always call you Zoomers, but we know you're not Zoomers, and we know you're not Boomers. You encompass the entirety of the age spectrum, and we know you're Facebook Live watchers, and you're also YouTube watchers. So we thank you, and you too are actually a part of our community. This isn't pre-recorded and this isn't post-recorded, but we are actually live. And even though you're not physically here, we know you are here with us in spirit, and you are actually a member too, whether you know it or not. Do me a favor and point your hands at the camera, if you will. Let's speak a special blessing on our online community. Say this with me. We love you. We bless you. We truly appreciate you. And we behold the Christ light in you. And so it is. Put your hands together one more time. Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing? So everybody take a deep breath. And I, as a divine sound, you kind of plugged me into that while we were talking. And the zikr, the wonderful meditation, La ilaha illallah, or as they say in Arabic, Bismillah Rahman Rahim. God, the good, the merciful, the wonderful presence of God. You know, the good thing about the presence of God is that when you surrender to this power that worketh in us, with us, as us, the doing is done by it. So you can say, you can let go. You ever find yourself holding on tight? You can't sleep, you're anxious, you're wound up, you're irritable, you're on the edge of your seat, you're a busybody. Even though things are done, you're still trying to do stuff, fix stuff, straighten stuff, get stuff together. You did your makeup twice and you're still trying to get it right. You had a haircut, you're going behind the barber to adjust your beard. That covered the entirety of the spectrum, I think. If I didn't get you, I apologize. I'll be on your street in 2 minutes. But when you find yourself not being able to rest and be still, that's when you're refusing to accept what is. Now, there's always a conversation between the activists and the contemplatives. The activists say the contemplatives don't do anything but sit around on their hands while stuff is going on. And the contemplatives say the activists are busybodies and they don't know how to say yes. And sometimes there's this even middle ground that you can kind of find. And when you find that place in that space, which is inside of yourself, you'll find that there's a sweet surrender. There's a sweet yes. And that yes is grace. Because you'll discover that there are lots of battles that you need not fight. You don't have to push so hard. You don't have to coerce. You don't have to go back and forth. It's not that you don't try, you try differently. Where everyone else is coming and going, you do less coming and you do less going and you still arrive before they get there. Everybody say grace. That's not my topic this morning. I just want to hear you say grace. That's what you. No, but that is the grace of God. It's the unmerited favor of God. You don't have to do anything to earn it, right? But say this with me. Faith without works is dead. Say it one more time. Faith without works is dead. Our spiritual ancestors, the faith that they were talking about wasn't so much belief as it was trust. Because faith in Greek is pistis, where you get I can't talk this morning, where you get the name of the book, Pistis Sophia, the book of wisdom. Pistis is trust. So we're not talking about believing blindly in the presence of God. Because, you got 5 senses, you have a brain. God isn't ignorant of the fact that you have self-awareness. We're talking about trust. And this trust is, I'm standing here and I'm trusting that gravity is going to hold me here and I'm not going to float off into space, even if I don't understand how gravity works. So I don't have to understand how this power works. I don't have to understand how my heart works in order for it to work. I don't have to understand how my lungs work in order for it to work. I don't have to know all your business to be in your business because God is your business. That's why when we sit together and we talk and we're laughing and we're joking, we're in each other's backyards. It's like, I was just thinking that. I was just talking about that. I just saw that on TV. That t-shirt, right? Because it's the same power. It's the presence and the power that worketh for good in my life and in yours. And while it's also in me, it's in you. So we're talking about this one presence and one power that diversifies itself into the many. There's the one and there's the many. And you would think that with this presence, it would get tired. But we say this presence is never in absence. It's never in lack. The absence comes from the stuff that gets in the way between us and it. Everybody say grace. So we surrender to the presence and the power of God so that the stuff doesn't get in the way. And when the stuff does, we don't even have to force it out. There's some things in our life when we say yes, it simply gets up and it moves on its own. Like that wonderful phrase, people fire themselves. Like that wonderful phrase, you don't have to fight. Because you'll learn that God takes care of us more than we take care of ourselves. And if you don't like the word God, if you say yes to this mystery that we call God, because God, even the word God is a metaphor, is still pointing beyond to something greater. For example, if I say the word hamburger, who's instantly filled? So my words are just metaphors for an experience. So if I say the word God, I'm pointing to something beyond. And so all the work that I do between 9 to 5, some of y'all between 9 to 9 at night, all the work that I do, and I feel so accomplished, and my resume is so awesome, and I've done all these things, there's still this element of grace because there is a spirit in man, and the breath of the Almighty giveth them understanding. So I can't make nobody do nothing. They got to say yes to it. I can say, do this and you're fired. They say, I quit. And I'm like, oh, man, that didn't work. I can say, do this or this relationship is over. They're like, what relationship? I didn't know we had one. You enlightened me. Do this or we're coming to repossess the car. You don't have to. It's parked behind your shop. Can we say grace? So grace is a partnership, it's a cooperation. And so today, as I'm concluding the theme of spiritual direction, the last topic that I wanted to introduce for this Sunday was celebrating our wins. But it's hard to celebrate our wins when stuff gets in the way and distracts us from the goodness of God that's in our life. It's like it's hard to see the good stuff because you're so distracted by the bad. Say this with me, distractions. Oh, we know a lot about distractions, don't we? It's like stuff gets in the way. Are you okay? I'm fine. Well, why you sound like that? Did anybody call? No. Did anything happen? No. Are the bills paid? Yes. Did you sick? No. Is the kid sick? No. Your mama sick? No. Then what's the matter? I don't know. We wake up on the wrong side of the bed, and it's hard to get free because something happens to us. But I can tell you what it is. It's our nervous system. Stuff impacts our nervous system. And believe it or not, you're here in this moment, but that nervous system starts to do what it does. You scientists correct me. And inside, you're somewhere in last week. You're here in the present moment, but you're back here. You ever see Dr. Strange when he was with his master, or The Matrix when he was with his master, Neo? And Neo and Lawrence Fishburne were going back and forth, and Lawrence Fishburne hit him, and he popped out of himself. Yep. It's like our nervous system, we're stuck in the past or we're stuck in the future, and it's so hard to be present. And that's why it's so hard for us to experience the good that's here and now. Now, I'm not one of those big be in the now persons. I love the now, but when I'm in pain, I don't want to be in the now. So sometimes I might go to the beach in my mind. Sometimes I might go to my grandma's house when I was a kid. Sometimes I might go to my mama's house while I'm eating that apple pie. You know, I go where I need to go, but the stuff that separates me from the goodness of God, whether it's in this moment or the previous moment, that's the stuff that's the problem. So when I think on the goodness, like the old folks say, the goodness of spirit and all that it's done for me, my soul cries out. But it's hard to get to the goodness stuff because in the route or on the way to thinking about the goodness of God, I think about other stuff. So if I can figure out a way to get rid of the other stuff, then I can get closer to what already is. Say this with me. Goodness is here. Goodness is now. Everybody in this moment, y'all feel good? You feel good in your body? No pain, hopefully. There's nothing going on. In this moment, all of your bills are paid. In this moment, gas is in your car, hopefully. In this moment, shoes are on your feet. All the basic necessities are good here and now. So if good is here now, in this moment, this is where your power comes in, because by recognizing and harvesting the good from this moment, when times aren't good, you have something in your emotional bank account to take with you. So when you move into the bad, you will learn that this is only temporary. This is just situational. This isn't permanent. Say this with me. This isn't permanent. The reason why we do a lot of the talking is because affirmation work is really powerful. Affirmation work is the bare bones of spirituality. It's positive self-image psychology. So what I say to myself, I become, right? Thoughts are things. Say this with me. Thoughts are things. And you are the thinker that thinks the thought that becomes the thing. Y'all remember that sing-songy rhyme we got in New Thought Sunday School? You are the thinker that thinks the thought that becomes the thing. So if I can manage what goes on in my thinker, I can't stop it. I can't control it, but I can manage it. And that's where your power is. So you celebrate the good by learning how to identify it. But what if my identifier is off? It's hard to find the good because there's something blocking. Am I on your street yet? Am I on your street yet? There's something that gets in the way. It's hard for me to be happy for you, mama, because I got stuff going on. I'm glad to hear you're doing so well, because I'm not. I'm glad to see you're doing so okay. Oh, y'all are still married? How's things going with you? I gotta go. Somebody's calling me. Where's your wife? Or like folks do, how's so-and-so doing? You know we divorced 2 years ago. Why are you asking about her? Why do we do that to each other, right? We love to do this and to do that. But here's the thing. He that dwelleth, right there, in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. So you can't push my button if you can't find it. Because I'm hidden with God. So to push my button, you got to push God, and I wouldn't advise you to do that. That's what happens when we manage our thinking. All of that to say this. Everything in spiritual practice is a lesson of skillfulness. Say this with me, skillfulness. So the meditative work is designed so that you can watch yourself. You pop out of yourself and you see yourself. Everybody say prayer. Prayer. The goal of prayer is not to change the circumstances, but it's to change the looker of the circumstances. So prayer changes me so that my relationship to the thing that doesn't move changes. So I move, and then I learn I'm the center, that's the circumference. For everyone that draws a circle around me, God draws a circle around both of us and says not so. So my world is enlarged when I step into the presence and the power of God, even when I feel like I'm limited. Pains rack my body. I learned that I am not my body, and my body is not all of me. This body is only a container, but my soul is free. I remember my uncle when I was like 9 years old, he was dying. Dwindled down to about 81 pounds. And they asked him, they knew he was in pain. They gave him the morphine. And they asked him, Michael, how you doing? And he said, I'm free. And they looked at him and asked him how he was doing because they could see with their five senses that he was in pain. But Michael identified with something that was beyond the five senses. The spiritual practices that we do, they allow us to supersede our mind. They give us an avenue of escape, right? They give us a way out. Say this with me, freedom. For every situation you're in, every circumstance that you're in, there's always a way out. There's always a back door. There's always a hidden door. And when you hide in God, you'll find that all the doors open, and you get to decide, what door do I want to walk through? So in my natural self, in my five senses, I can only see, taste, and touch, limitation. But in God, I find that all the doors of my perception are open. Aldous Huxley. Everything is open. All the answers of God are yes and yes. And so instead of taking advantage of everything, I choose the thing that most aligns with me, which is my spiritual practice, my soul, my ethics, my character. Which way do I go? And so limitations in the mind and in the hand of a God-fearing person become possibility. You go from limitation to possibility, and this is how you change. Everybody say, doing the work. Can I take you deeper into your meditation practice? If you're not already doing this, there are three components to your meditation practice that will help you to go to the next level. When you add meditation with contemplation and reflection, you go to a new place. Because instead of just going inside and closing your eyes, some of us, when we go inside, all we see is pain. All we see is anxiety because our nervous system hasn't changed. Our physical body has changed. The day of the week has changed, but we're still stuck in last week. Everybody say change. So reflection, that reflective capacity of the mind to think on those things that are good, to think on those things that are just, to think on those things that are of a good report, Bible scholars. When I think on these things, my relationship to the stuff that happened that has me in this mood changes, and then my state changes. So while I'm in my meditative practice, in my cocoon or in my zikr, when I'm down there face to face with myself and I do that kind of reflective work, my state changes, I pop out, and before you know it, the answers, they come. Because one of the more difficult things about prayer and meditation is when you pray and meditate and nothing happens. Then it's like, did I get it wrong? Is God not listening? Is life not listening? Where's the problem? Say this with me. There's no problem. It's a challenge. It's a challenge. So I change my relationship to the stuff, and then the stuff changes its relationship to me. Or when I change the way I look at things, the things that I look at change. So I'm stuck in this moment, but through the power of reflection, I'm able to think on those things that are good, and I pop out of this moment. Say this with me, contemplation. If I go into my meditative experience and I'm going down into a nervous system that's chronically dysregulated, through the process and power of contemplation, I'm able to take something with me into the meditative experience. So I take a sacred sound, and I allow the power of my own voice to change my emotional state. I take good music. I take a memory. I take a sacred mantra, a sacred word. I take a sacred scripture into the meditative experience, and then my state changes. So through meditation, combined with reflection and contemplation, I experience the power and the presence of God. Watch this. That always is. But the presence and power of God is a gentleman or a lady, or however you define the pronoun. It sits and it waits. So we're not waiting on life. Life is really waiting on us. Because sometimes if life were to intervene too soon, we don't get the lesson. So what does that have to do with celebrating your wins? You are always winning. There is something good that there is to you. If you're watching online, there is something good in your life. And when you identify with that, you draw it into your experience. Can you say yes to that?
Yeah.
Excuse me. And when you draw this into your experience, your emotional currency goes up. Everybody say currency. Currency is fluidity. It's movement. So something gets moving in you. Why are you so happy? I know something you don't. I had an experience that I can't share, that if I were to put to words, I still couldn't express it. Why you ain't mad about this? That'll be all right. I ain't worried about that. You're not upset about this? Man, I ain't thinking about that. You ain't upset about them? Man, I ain't studying her. Gotta deal with her. Gotta deal with him. Gotta deal with that. Not God outside of me, but God in me, outside of me, as me, with me. Remember, bring ye all the tithes so that there may be meat in mine house. Prove me now herewith, said the Lord of hosts, that I will not open you the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing. Because God will open you up in you, with you, as you, and pour you back out to yourself. So you'll find that you're stronger than you realize. Iyanla Vanzant wrote a book one time. She said, one day my soul opened up. So the stuff in my life that I thought was tough, that I couldn't beat, that I couldn't take care of, that was challenging for me, I shifted into second gear. Y'all know what that's like? I thought that I was done, and an idea hit me. Bloop. An idea hit me. So I have to deal with the challenge, and God opened me up and gave me the answer to solve something that I was dealing with myself. But that's not the only way God will work. Sometimes God will open up other people or a team of people. When we say yes, limitation becomes possibility, and then we start to surround ourselves in an environment where God can come through any way, anywhere, anyhow, and any when. And those are the ones that are led by the Spirit of God. They're always moving. I thought they were going to go here. Nah, they went over there. I thought they were going to do this. Nah, they went over there. Because they're being led by the Spirit of God. That's why it's a blessing to come together. So I honor you guys for coming and joining us on this morning, because when you come and surround yourself with people of the household of faith, what happens is your faith is ignited. Your trust is ignited. You are inspired, and you create a set point, and you rewire your nervous system for possibility. So if you're upset, bring it into the house of God. If you're nervous, bring it into the household of God. If you're in pain, bring the pain into the household of God, and allow the presence and power of God to work a miracle in your life, to show you that just an increase in the quality of your life can change the game. You ever known anybody in pain before? Or ever been in pain? An increase in the quality of their experience can make the difference. Just one jolt, one difference, one step, one person can make the difference. So say this with me, celebrating your wins. You start celebrating your wins by doing the work to remove the barrier between you and the stuff that's working for you. By recognizing that there is a presence and a power in you, with you, as you, and in the community of faith. And if you say yes to it, the grace from that presence moves every barrier, every stumbling block out of the way, so that you're able to identify what's working and draw more of it into your life, so that you're like DJ Khaled, you can say, all I do is win. Can you say yes to that on today? Yes. Can you do that with me on this week? Yes. I give you a homework challenge, like you're in school. Find one thing good in your life. Find a second good thing, and then a third good thing, and hold on to them. 5 good things, and hold on to them all week long. And when you catch yourself slipping, bring yourself back to the good. When you catch yourself complaining, bring yourself back to the good. And if you're interested, buy yourself a bottle of champagne and celebrate. Thank you for listening. Peace and blessings.
That was fabulous. Okay, so while we're in the yes mode, I have an opportunity for you to say yes. So let me be Reverend Jesse for a minute. Can you say yes? Can I get a yes? Come on. Yes.
Yes.
Children's church is going to happen because you just said yes.
Yes.
If we get 2 people, we'll have children's church once a month. If we get 4 people, we'll have children's church twice a month. And so it goes. Would you like to see children's church every Sunday?
Yes.
All right. Sign up. All right, I took too much time on that, didn't I? Giving is a breeze. We know it's a breeze when you give with breeze. Go online to unitybham.org and sign up for Breeze if you haven't already. If you have, thank you so much. A lot of people are responding to that. It's a great way to communicate. And just so you know, you like to know where your money's going and what goes on around here. We just had the AC fixed in the lobby last week. It was kind of warm if you were here last Sunday in the lobby. It's now cool again, so thank you very much. Your money is at work. August the 14th, Reverend Jesse has a workshop on spiritual gifts from 12:30 to 2:30. Sign up with Lillian or go to unitybham.org.
Or email revjessebham@gmail.com.
Or email who?
revjessebham.
revjessebham.com. Okay. At gmail.com. Yep. Okay, everybody got that? Yes. All right, it's time for the offertory. So take your tithes out, put them in your hand. Remember, we're all of us are volunteers. We give freely of our money, we give freely of ourselves to Unity of Birmingham because this is our community, this is our home, this is our church family. So if you'll hold your tithe in your hand, repeat after me. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I receive, all that I give. I give in love and I trust God. And so it is. The offering bowls are in the back. One's in the alcove, a little red bowl right back here. So keep your tithe in your hand. Don't put it in your pocket or in your purse. Just hold it in your hand so you don't forget to take it home and then you have to bring it back and put it in the bowls. Don't pull a Glenn. Okay, it's time for us to sing the peace song. Maui, where are you? Oh, good, you're in place. It's going to be up to you. Okay, who sings around here? Because I am not the one. Somebody come join me. Gina, Miriam, come up here, please.
All right, choir.
Are we ready? Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Now for the prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds us.
I am the light of God.
The love of God enfolds us.
I am the love of God.
The power of God protects us.
I am the power of God.
The presence of God watches over us.
I am the presence of God.
Wherever we are, God is. Wherever
I am,
God is, and all is well. Remember to put your arm above all. It's all the hardest.
Hey.